This is the audiobook version of Truths About the Military Transition from Military.Transition.org. Copyright 2025 by Military.Transition.org. The process of transitioning from the military into the civilian workforce can be difficult and stressful. This observation is based on 2 decades of coaching members, along with thousands of interviews and survey responses from service members, veterans, and spouses. More than half, 52%, of veterans describe their transition as confusing. This feeling often stems from the overwhelming amount of inaccurate, inconsistent, and incomplete information about leaving the military and entering the civilian workforce. This audiobook seeks to provide clarity and ease that confusion. By sharing research-based lessons from veterans who've walked this path, we've uncovered the essential truths about the military transition. These insights are designed to help you plan, prepare, and succeed as you move into the next phase of your life. Whether you're considering separation, planning for retirement, or supporting a loved one through this process, this audiobook will serve as your guide. Together we'll focus on what really matters, so you can approach your transition with clarity and confidence. So let's get started. Veteran research highlights 10 important facts, which we call transition truths. This audiobook is organized into 10 parts, each focusing on a single truth, complemented by lessons from those who have already made the transition. Let's start with the first truth. Transition truth number 1. Everyone in uniform will transition. Fact: 100% of military members will become civilians again. At first glance, this fact might seem obvious, but it's an essential starting point. Every service member knows they'll eventually take off their uniform and return to civilian life. Yet it's easy to forget this fact until it becomes impossible to ignore. And this is usually when separation or retirement is imminent. Delayed planning often creates unnecessary challenges, increases stress levels, and limits future opportunities. So why wait? Regardless of your branch, rank, or occupational specialty, active duty members have 8 options for what comes next. Let's briefly walk through each of these. The first option is education or training to improve future career options or salary. The second is employment, which is working for someone else. The third is entrepreneurship, which is working for yourself or an organization in which you are a partial owner. The fourth is joining the Guard or Reserves full-time. The fifth is becoming a full-time dependent. The sixth is becoming a full-time caregiver. The seventh is full-time retirement, which means doing nothing for a living wage. You might work for fun or as a volunteer, but not to support your lifestyle. And the eighth is unemployment, which is definitely not a preferred option. This option has cousins we know as underemployment and misemployment. All of these options, unemployment, underemployment, and misemployment, are often the result of not planning or preparing for what's next. Once service members realize they'll eventually take off the uniform, the importance of active preparation becomes clear. At this point, many realize that choices made while serving will impact future options. Throughout your military career, the relevance of what you can do after serving should always be top of mind, and this is when your planning should begin. Thoughtful planning for post-military life doesn't change your current duties, but it can help you get a jump start leading to more and better future options. This leads us to the next truth. Transition truth number 2. You are responsible for your own transition. Research fact: 84% of veterans recommend starting early. Regardless of what anyone says, you and you alone are responsible for your own transition. So, preparation should begin long before retirement or separation paperwork is submitted. Over the past 2 decades, we've heard every reason imaginable why members delay preparation for life after the military. The most common reasons members tell us are, "I don't know what to do." This tends to be more common among junior members and a great reason to get started right now. The next reasons are more common among senior NCOs and officers. "I don't have the time," which is said in many ways such as, "I'm too busy," or "I'm focused on the mission." Other common excuses senior NCOs and officers provide are, "My position doesn't allow it," or "I don't want to disappoint others." At the end of the day, you're only disappointing or cheating yourself and your family by not getting started as soon as possible. Remember, you are responsible for what comes next, good or bad, so get started and take charge of your future. Another reason service members delay is overconfidence, which often comes from a perception that the troops are better trained and more capable than their civilian counterparts, or that military training makes us better leaders and overall performers. This mindset often results in veterans thinking they just need to send in a resume, and a civilian position comparable to their current responsibilities can be easily attained. As a hiring manager with 2 decades of experience, I can assure you, this isn't true. In all cases, organizations look for individuals that can perform the work required first and foremost. After this, being a veteran equates to some type of extra credit. If you can't do the work needed, no amount of extra credit will get you the job. As for the perception that civilians are less capable, please erase this from your thinking. I've worked with many non-veterans in corporate America, along with not-for-profits and public service organizations that rival the most elite service members. Remember, the responsibility for your transition and its outcome rests entirely with you. While confidence in your abilities is valuable, overconfidence and misconceptions about the civilian workforce can lead to costly setbacks. But even with proper planning, the process itself can still be stressful and confusing. That brings us to our next truth. Transition truth number 3. The transition process can be stressful. Research fact: 76% of veterans say their transition was stressful. Veterans often describe their transition as stressful, and many talk about the process like they were entering the unknown. Think about entering an unknown foreign land with obstacles and hidden dangers. Would you enter before knowing anything about the environment or how to avoid the obstacles? What about getting assistance from someone you know to help overcome the challenges? In this situation, reducing uncertainty and removing hidden dangers increases your chances of navigating to safety, right? The same holds true for the military to civilian transition process. Our research highlights 3 categories of active duty members that journey into the unknown. The first group of transitioning service members enters what we describe as the complete unknown. These members are totally unprepared for what they'll find. On top of this, most are generally unaware of their lack of preparation to overcome the unknown. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night in a foreign land where you don't speak the language, you have no clothing, water, or anything that would help you navigate to safety. We call this situation the transition ambush, and it's the worst case scenario. These veterans struggle and are more likely to consider harmful behaviors to escape this scenario. Those who survive the ambush live with career, family, or financial wounds that could have been avoided. The second group of transition service members enters what can be described as the relative unknown. These members have some knowledge of what's ahead, combined with an understanding of their marketable skills. In this scenario, you wake up in a foreign land, knowing some of the language and terrain, as well as having clothes and gear which ensure your survival. The majority of service members fall into this group, and the level of unknown and discomfort are a direct reflection of their preparation. Post-military satisfaction is higher compared to the first group we discussed. The third group enter the unfamiliar. They have specific skills and connections that allow them to avoid the unknown, which makes it the best case scenario. In this situation, you wake up in a nearby city where you speak the language and have adequate resources: clothes, gear, water, and a phone. More importantly, a friend awaits your arrival and escorts you to a desirable location within a short period. Members of this group often have in-demand skills. Examples might include pilots, engineers, medical, IT, cyber, and acquisition professionals, or individuals with unique clearances. This group benefits greatly by leveraging a strong and established network. For the majority of veterans, the lesson is clear. Preparation and networking are the best ways to reduce the transition unknown. How you prepare for the transition is dependent upon what you want in your follow-on life, which leads us to the next truth. Transition truth number 4. Understanding and preparation are essential. Research fact: 48% of veterans say their transition was more difficult than expected. From our time in uniform, we know the military uses consistent processes to prepare for mission ops. We call these SOPs, Standard Operating Procedures, or TTPs, Tactics, Techniques, and Procedures. Before conducting operations, we defined our objectives. Next, we assessed our unit's capabilities and shortfalls, and finally, we trained to execute. Your transition back into civilian life should follow the same process. First, you should define your mission objectives. We recommend asking questions like, what are my post-military interests and desires? How do I research and discover all of the available options? Next, you should understand your capabilities and shortfalls. Ask questions like, what marketable skills do I have currently? Are there additional skills or credentials I need to be successful? After this, you should train and prepare for the mission of transition. Ask yourself questions like, am I building my network? Can I communicate the value I bring to an employer? The final step in this process is to execute. There are countless ways this might occur, and we recommend reading our guidebook titled Planning for the Military Transition. It's free of charge and can be downloaded on our website at military-transition.org/ebooks. The bottom line is that a successful transition requires the use of a deliberate approach. and we know how to do this from our time in uniform. We define our mission, assess strengths and gaps, train, prepare, and execute. This structured approach minimizes surprises and maximizes our chances for success. Using a structured and consistent process is important, but we also need to remember that all service members have different aspirations for their post-military careers, combined with different skills and experiences. This means all transitions are unique. That brings us to the next truth. Transition truth number 5. Everyone has a different transition experience. Research fact: 83% of veterans recommend having a unique transition plan. Everyone goes through the same process when entering the military, right? Daily activities are regimented and participation is mandatory. There's always clear direction, and you can follow the lead of others if you're not sure what to do. Recruits are isolated from the outside world, and individual freedoms are removed. Everyone performs as a team, and there is a defined support network. Unfortunately, the transition into civilian life is the exact opposite. You now get a choice in all activities and don't have a clearly defined team to assist. You alone, not your squad, need to make all decisions which determine your future, and many of these decisions will be made with limited information, unless you purposefully seek out advice and assistance. And while you're relearning how to become a civilian, you're expected to fit into both the military and the civilian culture. To be successful, you need to have a plan that helps you identify and achieve your post-military goals. The first step on this journey is self-reflection and self-discovery. Consider the following exercises to get started, and be sure to document your experiences in a transition journal. Yes, you should keep notes about your experiences and refer to these as you progress. We recommend reading our guidebook titled After the Military Transition for additional planning exercises. The ebook is free of charge and can be downloaded from our website. Here are 3 exercises to help you get started. Exercise number 1. Find answers to important questions, such as, if money wasn't an issue, what would I do with my time? What work situations or environments do I prefer? Do I enjoy being around other people? Do I prefer fast-paced environments? Do I thrive in high-stress environments? Exercise number 2. Make a list at the end of each day and write a few sentences about 3 things that made you feel significant or valued, 3 things that made you feel insignificant or underappreciated. After 60 days of making daily notes, you should review journal entries and look for themes that can help guide your thinking. Exercise number 3. Evaluate every role you've had since the age of 18. What did you learn in each role? What did you like and dislike? Who was your boss or manager, and what did you learn from them? Did you have coworkers? What did you learn from them, or about yourself when interacting with them? When completing these exercises, be honest with yourself. No one else needs to see what you write in your journal, and honest answers to hard questions will help guide important life and career decisions. Use what you learn from these exercises to help define post-military goals and start developing plans to achieve life and career goals. As you reflect on your experiences and begin to define your post-military goals, remember that you don't have to navigate this process alone. While self-discovery is essential, one of the most valuable steps you can take is learning from others who have already walked this path. This leads us to the next truth. Transition truth number 6. The best lessons come from those with experience. Research fact: 86% of veterans say that networking is important to a successful transition. Learning from others is important, and a strong network can help you understand and navigate the transition process. Don't allow the idea of networking to be intimidating. In our ebook titled Networking for the Military Transition, we explain the benefits of networking along with steps to help get started. Here are some actions we recommend. First, reach out to members you served with that are studying or working in the jobs or careers that interest you. Ask questions and learn from their experiences. When comfortable, ask them for introductions so that you can expand your connections and learn from others. Next, get on professional networking platforms such as LinkedIn and listen to the discussions. Contact veterans and individuals who didn't serve in the military and ask questions about their industry, company, and career. Yes, start connecting with non-veterans and learn from them. Odds are that most of your future coworkers and managers have never served in the military, so it's important to start learning about their world. And finally, find mentors through organizations like American Corporate Partners and other reputable veteran service organizations. Join online and local community groups and learn from veterans, non-veterans, and employers. Remember to keep in touch with your network as time permits and pay it back after you've completed your transition. Building a strong network and learning from the experiences of others can provide invaluable guidance during your transition. However, even with advice and support, some veterans find themselves unprepared for the realities of life outside the military. This brings us to the next truth. Transition truth number 7. Some veterans aren't ready for life after the military. The fact is that some veterans just aren't ready to begin their follow-on lives, and there are many reasons why this might be the case. Some need to address medical issues or have challenges dealing with less structured environments. Some struggle with perceived lack of commitment from coworkers, and others miss being part of an extended family or community that takes care of its members. Others need time and training to enhance their skills, while others require new skills, certifications, and degrees to achieve their future goals. Some need time to deal with family issues that might stem from extended deployments, and others require additional life experience or a realistic understanding of their true marketable skills and abilities. Research fact: 52% of veterans say their skills aligned with their first civilian position. Throughout this audiobook, we've recommended that you invest the time to understand and prepare for life after the military. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There are thousands of veterans who have been there, and organizations available to assist as you reflect, gather information, and plan for your transition. But even with a clear plan and strong preparation, there's another significant hurdle to consider, which leads us to the next truth. Transition truth number 8. Most hiring managers aren't veterans. The military experience offers vital skills and life lessons for those who serve. However, these skills are only marketable when explained so that companies understand and see relevance in their organization's needs. Research fact: 83% of veterans say that learning how to translate military skills is important to a successful transition. The unfortunate truth is that many companies don't understand the military, so they prioritize hiring talent through other sources. These organizations don't invest the time or train their recruiters to understand what it means to serve, or how military training and experience brings value. In this situation, the burden falls on service members to demonstrate their value in ways companies understand. This is what translating your skills and experience really means. In translating skills, you should focus on language, alignment, and impact. Language. Using military terms and acronyms is like speaking a foreign language to employers. It confuses them and decreases the likelihood of success. The earlier you begin using civilian language, both written and verbal, the better. Ask your network to help develop ways to explain your skills and experiences to those who have never served. Alignment. Communications with employers should demonstrate how your skills and experience align with their needs. To do this, you must understand the position, along with the skills and experience required to be successful. After this, focus on how you will use these skills and experience to deliver value to the organization. Impact. Managing high-tech equipment, infrastructure, and personnel is valuable, but it won't guarantee you a job. Employers are attracted to candidates who achieve results and exceed expectations, but only if you can clearly communicate how your experiences bring value to their organization. This can be challenging, so don't wait until the end of your career to start thinking about how to effectively explain the impact you made while serving. As you prepare for the transition, an important consideration is compensation, and this leads us to the next truth. Transition truth number 9. Compensation is different outside the military. A direct comparison of military and civilian pay isn't accurate because of the allowances and tax-free benefits given to service members. Another difference with civilian pay or salaries is the frequency and level of potential increases. Do your research and understand the appropriate range for the organization, position, skill set, and location of which you are applying. Research fact: 38% of veterans say their first salary was worse than expected. While in uniform, compensation was based upon rank and time in service. Promotion timing and pay increases were predictable. In the civilian workforce, pay increases can occur at any point, and amounts can vary from small to exceptionally large. In the civilian world, compensation is tied to the value you bring to an organization, and your first priority in a new civilian role should be to understand the environment and integrate into it. Don't expect any pay increases until you have established yourself and started contributing measurable value. Once you've demonstrated your impact, you might ask to revisit compensation discussions that may not have been possible during the hiring process. Remember, pay or salary are just one aspect of a compensation package. Other factors like healthcare, paid time off, PTO, and retirement plans are equally important and should be carefully considered. Understanding how compensation works outside the military is a crucial part of your transition. It might feel unfamiliar at first, but a bit of research along with a focus on delivering value to the organization will help you succeed. Always keep in mind that compensation is just one piece of a larger picture. As with all aspects of the transition process, patience and persistence are the key, which leads us to the final truth. Transition truth number 10. Patience and persistence are required. Research fact: 59% of veterans say their transition took more time than expected. Becoming a mission-ready warrior didn't happen overnight. It required time and effort. And so will becoming a high-performance civilian. Important activities like reconnecting with family, self-reflection, clarifying life and career aspirations, and getting on the right path take time. Also, don't overlook the fact that your family must also undergo the transition and include them in plans and decisions. Military families endure challenges, and the appeal of a more stable schedule or environment can be tempting. However, the sense of community can be different on the outside. Talk to your family to ensure they are aware of what's ahead and prepared for the change. As mentioned previously, have a transition plan that adapts as you learn more about yourself and the path that best aligns with your life and career goals. Expect setbacks and delays along the path, and flex when necessary. We also suggest that you budget time for yourself prior to starting your next career. Why? Well, the process of preparing for retirement events or separation celebrations, along with training your replacement and household moves, can be exhausting. Give yourself time and the ability to recover before starting your new career, so you're energized and ready to make a positive impact. And finally, don't forget to help others once you've successfully navigated the transition process. Pay it back so that future generations of veterans learn from your experiences. Closing thoughts on the issue of truths about the military transition. This audiobook discussed research-based truths about the military to civilian transition, along with lessons from veterans who've gone before you. The advice in this audiobook can be used to help understand and navigate the journey from military service to the civilian workforce. But you need to go beyond this and invest the time and energy. The online version of this audiobook, along with the other free transition guidebooks, are a great starting point. In addition, our website contains resources and links to organizations we recommend. Also, look us up on LinkedIn and let us know how we can be of service now or in the future. We also encourage you to discuss these truths with mentors as you plan and execute your transition. Our last bit of advice is to always remember it's your future and you are responsible. Step up, take charge, and make it what you want it to be. Throughout this audiobook, I mentioned additional ebooks that provide greater depth on issues related to the transition process. These books are free to download and can be accessed at our website. The current titles available are Navigating the Military Transition, Winning the Employment Game, Veteran Edition, Military to Civilian Transition Challenges, Military to Civilian Transition Mistakes, Networking for the Military Transition, Planning for the Military Transition, and After the Military Transition. Please utilize these free resources and let us know how we can be of assistance. This concludes the audiobook version of Truths About the Military Transition from Military.Transition.org. Copyright 2025 by Military.Transition.org.